All right. Good morning. Ready? All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. This is another edition of our weekly real estate backstory. My name is Alan Rich. I'm the managing broker at Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners. And today I have a special guest and co-host, Jake House. Jake House is with Silverton Mortgage. He's our affiliated lender here at the McDonough office, which is where we're at today. So we're going to be hitting Jake up for a lot of questions. And so Ming's, normally Ming is my partner on the real estate backstory, but she's down with her dad. He's got a surgery coming up. So she's down with her dad. So Jake agreed to fill in and kind of help me out for the day. So Jake, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Nice to be here, Alan.
We appreciate it kind of thing. So we're just going to kind of run through here and kind of get through our normal routine. I just kind of wanted to get, welcome everyone to 2021 to start off with kind of thing. 2020, that bad word. I mean, we're probably going to use 2020 as like the new cuss word kind of thing. Like that is so 2020 kind of thing, yeah. or that can just bite my 2020, something along those lines kind of thing. But we're into 2021. And so this is going to be our entire focus for today's backstory is getting started, jumping into the new year and getting our business kind of running off the ground. That being said, we're gonna start off with this week on continuing education. We have several continuing education classes this week. So on Tuesday, tomorrow at 10 a.m. we have contracts, offer, and acceptance, contracts 101. We also have agent accountability led by Keisha Kennedy every Tuesday at 10. On Thursday, Dana is teaching GAR 2021 GAR contract changes, which is a must class for all realtors out there. And then on Friday, we have preparing your clients for their home inspection. So you can sign up at mx1training.com for any of these classes, and we hope that you'll join us. Education is really, really important. It's what we do to kind of prove our worth. Maybe proves the wrong word, but the more you know, the more you're worth. And in our industry, it is always changing. The only constant is change. And so staying educated is the big thing that we've got to do to really keep focused there kind of thing. So let's jump into some lending bits right now. And so right now, interest rates have been, I think 14 times last year, interest rates hit a new record low. All the talking heads in DC and well, gosh, everywhere are talking about it's going to be staying really close to around 3 in those threes kind of thing. And it really looks to be that way. I mean, what are you seeing on the mortgage front as far as interest rates? Because they're saying that for the next year and a half, 2 years, we should really be in that 3 range.
And they will, they go as low as 2.5 right now. But the reason behind that is if they raise the interest rate with the COVID virus being out there, our economy will crash. Mm-hmm. So the only thing keeping it alive right now is lower interest rates where people can afford to buy more than they used to be able to buy, with a lower interest rate that we're giving nowadays. But they're going to march on staying low there, like you said, for the next year at least, that we know of.
Well, that and we still have on the housing side, we have a huge deficit in supply. We have way more demand than we have supply for. So when you put those two together, housing's looking really good going into next year. I think that we may actually set sales records again this next in 2021 is really how it's looking kind of thing.
I believe so. Right now, we've got like 30 good pre-approvals just for you and your agents out there that we can't find houses.
Well, we better get busy. So.
Yeah.
But a lot of lenders are also kind of having an issue with, especially lower price and entry level homes, starter homes. Some of those mortgages are getting really pretty heavy on the lender fees and that kind of stuff. How do you guys fight that kind of thing? Because for us, we love working with first-time buyers too. We have a lot of agents that really focus on them. But a lot of times your lower-priced homes can sometimes have really crazy rates, right?
Fees, but it's because they're charging for your interest rate on the, discount points. But here at Silverton, going between 600 and 640, your interest rate's going to be 4.25, but you might charge 3/4 of a discount point. But the 640 and higher, a lot of them aren't getting charged anything because we're 100% truly FICO score driven. And like with us on a disabled vet or a vet period, we don't charge them any closing costs out of our pocket.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that goes straight third party, straight across.
Awesome. All right. But now you guys are pretty much on fire too. I know I saw something that mortgage originations are for 2020 set a record. I don't actually have it here on the screen, kind of thing. That 3.7 trillion loans were done, this kind of thing, or $1 trillion. So it set a sales record, and it looks like about 60% of those are refis. Now, are you guys doing refis too, or?
We are doing refis. The only thing about them, we don't put them in front of purchases. That hurts some
That's
people.
smart. No, it's well, for us, it's very important that they don't put them in front of purchases, because if they do, then we have, guys like you and our lenders and our attorneys that are not focusing on getting our purchase folks taken care of. So
right.
Yeah. So should we send folks that need refi to you as well?
Oh yeah, I can do the refinance. I just tell them up front they got to give me 45 to 50 days to close on theirs. That way I can do 30-day closings on the purchases.
Sweet. And is that kind of what you're running right now on purchases?
Yes, and it took us a whole year to get there because we're out of Atlanta. We're owned by Warren Buffett, but we get a 300% increase in business overnight when the COVID hit. And we didn't have the underwriters, didn't have the processors set up. We didn't have none of the employees to handle that. So we went to 75-day closings overnight and just now got back to 30, I guess about 2 months ago.
Good. Well, rolling now then.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Very good. One other thing that we saw come out just this past week, FHA is putting out some inquiries looking at appraisals and how appraisals are done. They're talking about going to hybrid appraisals. And I don't know what you guys are seeing on that, but typically, or when COVID hit, we saw that they changed to a lot of desktop appraisals, which caused a whole new ton of issues for us. We're still seeing a lot of those desktops, but now they're talking about going to this thing where they can use third parties to assist with appraisals. I mean, what's the lending industry's feeling about these hybrid appraisals?
Well, right now we've already got used to the veteran appraisers. They do what we call window appraisals.
Right.
They're not required to go into the house, and that's the toughest loan, but they're the ones that can just look through a window, do the appraisal. So
it may not be a peeping Tom, it may be a VA appraiser.
Exactly. But the other ones, FHA's been going inside of them and everything, and they've been holding to the rules. I haven't seen any of our appraisers, even ask for a window appraisal, just on VA and VA only.
I know that we are having a lot of appraisal issues, but I feel like the majority of our appraisal issues are around the fact that the market is moved faster than the appraisers have. In certain neighborhoods, even we're up 15-16% over last year, and most appraisers have a really hard time giving that much bump in a 12-month period to see property values move that rapidly, kind of thing. So I think that's where I'm seeing some of the appraisal issues. Are you having appraisal issues on the overall?
At first, it was appraisals coming in short, and not by much. Some of them did, but then all of a sudden now my appraisals are coming in where they're coming in higher than the sales price.
Sweet.
And that just started in the last 30 days.
Well, we could have more of that, please.
Exactly.
That would be really, really excellent. So we would love to see that. Right now, there was some new information that came out that said that the builders have actually slowed down last month. But if you dig deeper, it's not really that they slowed down. Mm-hmm. It's that they can't find labor and they don't have enough lots. For what, 5 or 6 years now, the builders have been using up all the inventory. They've been eating up all the PVC farms. And just now are we starting to see the dirt movers pushing dirt around and leveling places to be able to build neighborhoods again. The problem is that most of those take 2 years. By the time you go from raw land to a final plat, it's almost a 2-year time period. So we are seeing that the builders are really fighting to keep up with demand because they've got issues on labor. They have issues on softwood prices and softwood availability even. Sometimes it's just hard to find enough materials. And then now they're running out of lots. So we're continuing to see some real challenges there. All that on the other side is creating a lot of upward pressure on pricing, which is then slowing down the number of buyers looking because they're almost getting priced out of the market on some of it. So the builders, it's a very interesting time. The builders, every month they survey the builders, and and their confidence survey dropped a little bit. And I think it's mainly because of the outside factors. People want new construction. It's one of the few areas we have that has any inventory in it, but they are running really behind right now.
Yes, they are. A whole bunch. I know several builders, they have no houses standing.
Yeah.
Because they're under contract, but they just, all their standing inventory got taken up and gobbled up.
Yep. And we're seeing where they're, if you've got a buyer that has a contract on a new construction, I'm just going to be straight up, be ready for them not to hit the closing deadlines. We've had a whole lot of issues where our buyers are planning and establishing their entire world around the closing on this date. And sometimes they're missing it by 30 and 45 days kind of thing. Some of it is inside their control, because I think some of them have kind of overpromised and underdelivered, but sometimes there is things that are outside their control, such as the availability of materials and labor and that kind of stuff. So be prepared to handle those issues as they come up. This past week we had a issue. Well, issue is the wrong word, but we had an agent that was killed in Nebraska, and this is a male agent. A lot of times when we think about agents and the risk that we take, a lot of times we kind of immediately go to the ladies are being targeted, but this is actually where a male agent was killed showing a rental property kind of thing. And so this is one of those things where we just have to be really smart about what we're doing. Even if you are a guy, should we be going on into crazy places and doing things that aren't always wise? Should we be, going places without having people know where we are and sharing our location and, buddying up whenever we can, verifying the people that we're going to meet are real, as opposed to just, hey, I got $500,000 cash, want to buy this house. And then we just go, hey, let's go show them the house without actually seeing if they're real and that kind of stuff. So our safety is our job. There is no one that's going to keep you safe. It's up to you to do that. It's important. Unfortunately, we keep getting reminded every couple of months about another realtor that has been, hurt, injured, or killed in this instance kind of thing. We have to be really, really diligent, because I don't want that this is a world that we have to be like this, but hey, reality's here. And so you just better buckle up, buttercup, because that's how it kind of is kind of thing. So we have seen a recent surge. Maybe it's not as recent. Multi-generational housing has really blown up even more so through up to like last year or so. Multi-generational housing that had two different generations of people in it. Most of the time we're talking, grandma, grandpa, mom, and dad, that kind of thing. It was running around 11%, and now we're up to 16%. So, they're really thinking that we could be as close as 20%. There's a real decline in senior housing, homes, that kind of thing, mainly because of the COVID. So many people have passed away in those facilities, that kind of thing, that there's more and more people that are living together. And so, it's now much easier than it ever has been to really start searching for multi-generational housing. The demand is there. We're even seeing flippers that are preparing houses for multi-generational housing that in the past have not been set up that way. It is normally, we do have to watch out, because there are some zoning violations that are going into effect with that, because single family is single family, and in certain places they are banning that. But we're also seeing where a lot of the municipalities are kind of backing off a little bit on that, because it's a really safer place for grandma and grandpa to be in there with mom and dad kind of thing. But that's continuing to move up. So last week, Congress passed the stimulus 2.0, whatever you want to call it, kind of thing. But there wasn't a ton in there for housing. There was some rental assistance, which is really needed, that kind of thing. And there was another moratorium for landlords, kind of thing. And there was another eviction moratorium. And so this creates a lot of questions that our landlords have. A lot of us work with investors and with landlords and that kind of stuff. And so NAR came out with a COVID-19 frequently asked questions for COVID, or for housing providers, for landlords and people that own rental property and that kind of thing. There's a whole new FAQ that talks about what the eviction moratorium really is and how that applies to you and what to do. It goes over property management issues. It goes over tenant issues. I'll attach it to this video, so I'll include the link in the video description. I'll put it on Workplace. It'll be on realestatebackstory.com underneath the comments, that kind of stuff. But you can also just go to NAR and search under COVID-19 FAQs for housing providers if you just want to go look it up yourself right now. But that's a pretty handy thing that we've seen. 2021 is moving in, and even though we're hopefully going to be moving more and more out of COVID, there's some things that are really going to stay. And one of those biggies is going to be video, kind of like Jake and I are here today with you kind of thing. So when you're doing video, I want to go over 10 things that I want you to be conscious of when doing it. And so the first one is pay attention to your backdrop. Like here, we're in an office, but our backdrop, we put the wood wall in, that kind of thing. So, pay attention to what your backdrop is. I'll be real honest with you. I'm not a big fan of the virtual backdrops because you end up with that hair by DuPont kind of thing that goes on. So, for us, it's worthwhile to invest in some kind of a backdrop or have a nice setting kind of thing. Avoid windows. They can be very, very distracting if you can. Second one, make sure you get good light. It doesn't have to be like in your face. You don't have to go blind, but you need to have some good overall light that kind of how that applies to you kind of thing. Number 3, clean your lens. Make sure you clean that off. Smudges go through really easy onto the overall picture kind of thing. Audio levels is another one that you want to try and make sure. We did invest in an additional speaker. You don't really have to invest in a lot of equipment until you've decided that you really like to do video. But at that point, you need to decide, and that's number 5, is make sure that when you're ready, consider adding up and upgrading your equipment when you're ready to do that kind of thing. Number 6 is where you avoid unflattering angles, because sometimes, like I'll be honest with you, this is not a good look for me kind of thing. Over here like this, these kind of things, this is not great. So you want to kind of avoid those unflattering. Don't go from too low down here. I've got a lot of chins up here. I don't have nearly as many. The beard helps to cut that. When you're talking, talk to the camera. Make eye contact with the camera, because if you don't, well, they don't know what you're saying kind of thing. I mean, it's, I've got to guess, so I can talk to Jake, but I need to come back and reference you because you're here kind of thing. Check your internet speeds. Internet speeds are really important, especially if you're streaming. Make sure that you're in a good mood. I know it sounds like a weird one, but it really is very, very true. Like even if you're talking on the phone, if you're smiling when you talk on the phone, people can hear it. And if you're in a good mood when you're on video, part of the reason we do video is because it really does show a bit of our soul. It shows who we are kind of thing. And that's one of the reasons why we do video. But you got to be ready for that, because if you're in a bad mood, that comes across too. Last thing, make yourself get all pretty, check yourself in the mirror, make sure that you're set up and ready to go. And then you're ready to knock out video, because video is one that is continuing to grow in popularity. Our clients really want us to do video more and more. This is one of those things that really is that needs to be in your agent toolbox now. All right, so we're starting off a new year, new me. And I want to kind of jump into new agents. And I want to talk about 10 mistakes that our new agents tend to make. And so if you are a new agent, I really want you to focus on avoiding these, or maybe not avoiding these, but getting your learning curve up to where you don't fall into these mistakes. And so the very first one is failing to represent your client's interest, best interest. When you are new, everyone is trying to get that first deal under their belt. They're worried about everything that goes along with the transaction, generating the lead, working the lead, going through the whole 9 yards. And it's very easy, and I know it sounds terrible, but it's easy to lose track of the fact that we succeed because we do a good job. And so it's very easy to focus on, I want that first closing, I want that first check, and not put your clients first. Agents that put their clients first end up winning in the long run. It's very important that even if it's not the best thing for you and it's the best for your client, that's what you got to do. Number 2 is that we're not, new agents fail to effectively negotiate with the other side. We see it time and time again. where a new agent will not, there'll almost be no communication or shut down kind of thing. They don't negotiate very effectively, or they just state things to be. For us, we communicate a lot, and with that negotiation also comes with being pleasant. Just because we're on the other side of a transaction does not mean that it's okay for me to be a jerk to you. Because if you're a jerk to me, guess what you get back? Mess with a bull, you get the horns. That's kind of how it works. So, being able to effectively negotiate and understand that is a really needed tool. Number 3, your contracts. Know your contracts. Look, we have GAR contracts 2021 changes coming out Thursday. We teach there's a contracts class on Tuesday. There's a ton of opportunities for you to learn your craft. It's important that your contracts are spot on. Number 4 is communication. Failing to communicate effectively. This is one of the biggies out there, because a lot of times we don't know what to do because you're new. You just don't talk about what's next. But you have to communicate, over communicate if anything. Number 5, new agents don't control their clients. But that really ties in heavily to number 4. If you're not communicating with your client, it's very easy for them to go all over. They go and put in offers on new construction. They call in listing agents, the whole 9 yards. And then they go out and find the house, and then they feel like you haven't brought them any value. Control your clients, but I don't mean control in a negative way. Being able to manage and handle all the needs that they have and carry them through the transaction. Number 6 is that new agents don't protect their commission. They don't understand. A lot of times they write in the contracts that, on a listing agreement that, 3%. Well, if you write the listing agreement with 3%, you just agreed to get 3% for the commission and give 3% to the buyer's agent. Good job. You just made no money. So we also have to protect our commissions now. It's important that we have a value statement in a value position where we show the value that we bring to a transaction kind of thing. Number 7, new agents, a lot of them fail to get coaching and mentoring. You need to have coaching, mentoring. You need to be walked through. So few people can just walk in and just boom, knock it out of the park. So we have a lot of accountability meetings. I'll meet with any agents that want to meet with me as often as you want to. Call, text me, whatever. I'll be glad to, kind of thing. Number 8 is remaining positive. When you first start off, you're trying to get those first transactions down. You've got to build a database kind of thing, and it takes some time. So you got to keep yourself positive and moving forward kind of thing. Number 9, new agents don't treat their business like a business. They treat it like they work for somebody. You don't work for anybody. You are your own small business. So if you choose not to get up and get your butt off the couch today, ain't nobody going to tell you no. So you've got to treat your business like a business. Last thing is that new agents fail to set up and use a database. A database is crucial. 80% of agents get 80% of their business from people they know and people that know them. A lot of times when agents are starting off, they're like, well, I don't know anybody right now. I'm brand new. I don't need a database. Wrong. That's when you have to start from the beginning the right way. So that leads me into the next thing I want to kind of wrap up with, and that is, 13 questions that you've got to ask yourself if you are a top performer. And if you're not a top performer, which of these 13 can you get your handles on? So the first one is, do you have at least one specific niche that you focus on? If not, you need to get it. Niche is really where it's at kind of thing, because it helps us to be known. It's very hard to be known everywhere in real estate because real estate encompasses so many things. So service, 1, 2, 3, very specific niches to kind of get yourself in and be established as the go-to person in those niches. Number 2, being able to accurately price your properties. Being able to honestly know what your neighborhood values run, that comes down to market knowledge and really knowing where you are. And that's why it's important that we focus smaller more so than larger. There's some agents that kill it on 1 or 2 neighborhoods. And I tell you, in those 1 or 2 neighborhoods where they know everything about everything going on, that's why they're so successful there. So really know your markets, know your areas. It's crucial. Number 3, price your listings so that they sell. Sometimes it's easy to buy listings. That kind of refers to, I'll take any price as long as I get a sign in the yard. And then those become the worst experiences of your life. you have to price listings so that they'll sell. And we use our comparables to show that to our sellers about what is a buyer willing to pay for your home in this market kind of thing. So use your numbers right there. Number 4, on at least 90% of your transactions, are you getting your full commission? If you're not doing it at least 90%, then you're giving away a whole lot of money. So that's a personal thing that you have to be able to stand up and defend your commission and understand that the work we do is very needed, vital, and it's worth to be paid for kind of thing. So on, our 90% of your commissions are transactions, are they at full commission? Number 3 or number 5, I'm sorry. Are you strong enough to stand up to an attorney, to a business manager, to an accountant when they're wrong? I don't mean that you have to be belligerent. Like if Jake says something stupid, sorry, Jake.
Hey, it's possible.
Do I have the wherewithal to be like, I think that's wrong, Jake, and that needs to fix? Or same thing with an attorney. A lot of times, and I'm not saying that these folks are always wrong, but sometimes we all make mistakes. Sometimes I get called out for something I've done wrong, and that's okay. I'm human just like everybody else. But it's especially, it's one of those traits that you see is when you're willing to address issues, you fix them before they're problems kind of thing. Next one is, do you have a written business plan? Written business plans are so crucial. As far as like one of the key attributes for top producers is having a written business plan. A lot of people want, especially in the real estate industry, we want to be very generic. We want to be very non-committal. What do you want to do next year? More, better. I want to work harder. I want more money, that kind of thing. Well, that's great, but you're not being specific enough about what you're going to do to achieve those in order to achieve that. So you've got to have a written business plan kind of thing. And then as part of that business plan, what is your marketing plan? How are you generating leads to drive sales to you? You have to have a process and a system for adding people into your database. And then, what's your daily routine? Are you great top producers have a daily routine where they reach out to their past clients, sphere of influence, leads every single day. Is that the system that you're working with effectively kind of thing? Number 10 is, are you ready to be a problem solver? Because if you're not, this is the wrong business for you. Where when we fix our clients' problems, we are very successful. So you can't wait for things to happen. You can't hope that they're gonna work out. When you see something wrong and something smells fishy, you need to get on it right away kind of thing. Number 11, follow up, and follow up more. We need to start off with having a really solid plan for how we follow up with people, but whether it's a new lead or with existing business, we have to have follow-up plans built into our business for how we do. And then that leads us directly into, are you ready to delegate? You have to delegate. A lot of times it seems like delegation is a not needed task especially for solo agents. You think, well, I'm a solo agent. Who am I delegating to? You're delegating to so many folks. You may delegate with your lender. You may delegate to your attorney. You may delegate with your broker, back and forth, the whole 9 yards. But you need to be ready to delegate and work with other people. You may have an assistant. You may have other agents that you're working with. You may be delegating some of those tasks and responsibilities. But the other side of delegation is follow-up kind of thing. And then last thing is, are you prospecting at least 4 days a week? I prefer 5, but if you're not prospecting 4 days a week, then your business is not, then you're not running your business. It's just not there for you. So I hope that you start off 2021 ready to rock and roll this thing, really knock it out of the park. I hope that 2021 is your best year ever. I'll be honest with you, if 2021 is not your best year ever, it's on you. And I know that may sound a little bit negative, but seriously, like there's business to be had right now. We're moving into some really, really great times as far as we have crazy low interest rates. As COVID starts to recede, we're going to see more and more people selling their houses. We have a lot of people moving into continuing to be in the buyer side of the market kind of thing. So this is a really great time. And if you're not achieving your financial goals, your successes that you need in real estate, then you need to go back to that list I just went through and see, where do I need to really reassess my business? How can I take advantage? How can I make 2021 the best year ever? it's the time to do that right now, because we're in 2021. If you're waiting, if you're like, I'll get around to it, you're not going to get around to it unless you do it right now. So please, I pray that you guys knock it out of the park. If I can be of any service, call, text, smoke signals, whatever I can do, you let me know. Hope you guys have a great week.
Have a great day.
Sorry I talked through all the end there, Jake.
No,
Thank
it's
you for
fine.
joining us. So,
I
thank you, my
appreciate
friend.
it. Thank
All
you.
right, bye, everybody.